Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology update for January 27th through February 3rd, 2025. Wow, what a powerful start to 2025. We're getting a feel of the energies and getting a feel of this new reality we're moving into, with Pluto now coming further into Aquarius this week on the 31st. Pluto comes into 2 degrees Aquarius. And so it's kind of like really moving in. And Pluto made it to 2 degrees last year, but just a dip into 2 degrees. And so we're really getting a feel for what this age of Aquarius is all about. And I think that's what the astrology is ultimately trying to tell us. We're having a beautiful alignment right now with Mars and Venus in trine to each other. So Mars is in Cancer, retrograde, going backwards, and Venus is in Pisces. So this trine is so beautiful because it's in the element of water, which brings a dreaminess and a peace and a healing. Also, it can bring a lot of emotions and grief. The thing about this trine is that in between the two, of these, the trine between Venus and Mars is Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus. So Taurus is 2 degrees over from each of them, making a sextile. So this lining up of energies is so beautiful, and it gives us such a powerful message. So because we've also felt the energy of Mars in square to Black Moon Lilith. We're going to still continue to feel this through this week. And it was exact from the 20th to the 24th of January. And so this is Mars retrograde in Cancer, triggering the opposition between Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. So this has been the tension and the intensity that we've been feeling over this last few days, week, because just before Mars came into that square, Mercury made the square. Mercury made the square with Chiron on the 21st and 22nd, and then a square with Black Moon Lilith on the 24th. Mars is going backwards, and so crossed into opposition with Mercury, and now in this square with Black Moon Lilith, and moving into the square with Chiron, and that will be from the 3rd to the 6th of February. So the first week of February is pretty tumultuous as far as like big shifting changes. And this is the energy of Pluto moving to 2 degrees. It's kind of like, okay, what is Pluto in Aquarius? Because we haven't really, we've gotten a little tiny taste. We don't know. We're getting a really strong, intense energy of what Pluto in Capricorn was about. And we're like feeling the reverberations of that, Wow, it's so intense right now because Mercury is coming to the end degrees of Capricorn. Mercury moves into Aquarius on the 29th, the same day as the Aquarius new moon, which marks lunar Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is celebrated on February 1st, the next full day after the new moon in China. So basically, we're looking at a lunar new year. We're looking at the age of Aquarius. We're looking at 2025. We're looking at all of these cycles. We're looking at a huge cycle with Neptune moving into the sign of Aries. Neptune's been in Pisces since 2011, and went back into to Aquarius, then back into Pisces, and then. But since 2012, it's Neptune has been in Pisces, and also we've had Saturn in Pisces for the last couple of years, and so Saturn and Neptune are both going to be moving over into Aries, retrograding back into Pisces, but moving into Aries this year. We also have a Mercury retrograde and a Venus retrograde going over that same point, the Aries point, 0 degrees, 3 times each. So this is incredibly powerful. But just knowing that Neptune has been in Pisces since 2012, and we've had Pluto in Capricorn since 2008. So much is shifting and changing, and just take that to heart, because we're kind of in retrograde hell right now. It feels so intense, because now this, I think, has to do with the fact that Venus, well, we've had these intense squares, like Mars retrograde in Cancer is intense enough, but now having its second or third square with Black Moon, Lilith, and Chiron, and right after Mercury, because Mercury's moving faster, of course, and so Mercury is really brought together the residue, the continuing energy of Black Moon, Lilith, and Chiron. They're not exactly opposite each other anymore, but we're still feeling the reverberations of that exact opposition, which happened the 18th through the 26th of December. So first Mercury last week, and then Mars triggering this. And Mars is right in the middle now, right in the middle between a square with Black Moon, Lilith, or a square with Black Moon, Lilith, and then Chiron, because Mars is going backwards. Mercury is going forwards, right? So just passing like ships in the night, making these squares, and it's just like, coming up against the wall. And what are these squares about? This is we've got Chiron in Aries, and Chiron in Aries is the wounds over where we've given away our life force, our power, our autonomy, our rights. Aries is the one that's going to stand up for other people's rights, the ideal. And so we are, and Aries is also about the quintessential wholeness of the beginning. It's the beginning of the zodiac. So the full true self, the I am presence, And so it's also about freedom, probably the most freedom loving sign, freedom and, autonomy, taking back your energy from where it's given away. So the wounds have to do with where we gave our energy away. So we're fighting for freedom, and we're fighting for autonomy, and we're fighting for our world, and we're fighting for our life force. Literally on a cellular level, we are fighting for life on Mother Earth, in our bodies. We're fighting for life on a cellular level as we claim, with every breath and intention and alignment, organic, loving Mother Earth, not the simulated version. We're not going to take it. It's not going to work for us anymore. How uncomfortable does it need to get? We came here for organic life, what Earth is meant to be. Okay, so the deal is that this is who you are, Supernova Soul, is that you have been fighting for her the whole time, because you're aligned with her, because you were there at the beginning of the inception of this dream, of her dream of Earth ascension. You were there. You're part of her. Okay. So we all are, but because of your advancement and because of your conscious awareness before Earth ever came into evolution, you were there. You're there you get the dream. It's within you. It's in your DNA, and you're a part of it. Now, it's interesting because we know that there's so much trauma in our world, and we know that this has been inflicted trauma. And part of the reason is to keep us in separation from our mother. And we know we have to come back to her if we're going to move forward anywhere. And we are having a planetary rebirth. So we've got to go back to mom. That's how we do it. So this is really a powerful energy coming forward that has to do with the Mars retrograde in Cancer, of the wounded warrior coming back to Earth, coming back to the mother. This is the wounded warrior that was fighting for what he thought was a good cause, saving his people and freeing his people, and feeling that God was on his side to do this. And then he lost the battle, and he's in the dirt, and he's barely survived. And it's the feminine that saves him, the mother. That's when we find her. So this is something really important to understand right now, is that something is being told to us that we need to come back to her, humble ourselves and come back to Mother Earth in order to move forward. And really the easiest, simplest, or how you come back most of the time is you find yourself face down in the dirt. Okay. Because this is the Pluto activation going from Capricorn to Aquarius. We can't just drop the chains of the past. We have to replace it with something. That's the mother's authority. So this is why we cannot free ourselves from being prisoners, because we don't know how to be free. That's the message they're trying to tell us, that we've been, programmed and controlled for so long that we're not mature enough to handle our own consciousness, but we don't understand that we have this artificially contrived reconfiguration and retriggering of trauma programming, right? So mind control that we're experiencing in our world right now is trauma-based. All mind control is trauma-based, right? So you've got to have the trauma. Now, it's interesting, though, because when we talk to Mother Earth, we get this energy that, and this is a message that's come through again and again, that, she wants to work with us. She's here with us. She's been asleep and hurt and traumatized, and we've been disconnected. She's waking up, and the message is that all of the catastrophes that are so called, that they want to blame on Mother Nature, every single one that involved mass casualties, she says, was created by technology, not from her. Stop blaming it on Mother Nature. Do you see how they can't wait to find the next thing to make us scared? Whether it's volcanoes or earthquakes or tsunamis and all of it, and why do they go to such lengths to make us so scared of her? And then she says, that wasn't me. Don't blame that on me. It's like a witch burning, right? So she says, why can't we just talk? Why can't you just talk to me and listen to me and communicate and connect? I want to love you. We are one. You are my children. I'm here to care for you and love you. And you feel this, maybe metaphorically, actually, as when you're that wounded warrior that has been knocked down one too many times and doesn't want to get up again. And a lot of supernova souls are feeling this way. And I'm sorry it's been so hard, but you have to understand that you have always been with her. And so you've always been punished. This is the story of the persecutions. If you support her and you're with her, then we're going to kill you. Like, this was the witch burnings. This was the religious persecutions, the healers, the eradication of the divine feminine wisdom and knowledge. So we have to remember, it's so hard for supernova souls because we're so sensitive and we're so intuitive and we're so empathic, and we're getting more and more so. It's really hard because it's like, oh, I'm doing all this work, and I'm meditating and da-da-da. And you're like, you're making yourself, first of all, it's just the energies are shifting and changing, making us all more sensitive and intuitive. And then all the work we're doing to move energy. And it's just so powerfully intense sometimes, the feelings, in the collective consciousness and the trauma that might come up for you in past lives and other people around you. It's like we're feeling it all so intensely. And so just try to be really patient with yourself, because it does feel like we're in a planetary purge. And of course, we are navigating healing crisis. Not only are we navigating a healing crisis, we are trying to come out of this trauma programming. And so the message is kind of like we've gotten again and again when we talk to the mother, that she's like, that trauma, you can't really traumatize Earth. She's a living, breathing goddess that, she's fine. She's going to take care of herself. But actually not. We are here to take care of her because we're part of her. So of course, if you're going to try to traumatize Earth, which isn't possible, but there's a trauma overlay on Earth, keeping the energy vibration just so down, constantly triggering these traumas in our psyche. This is what pretty much media is right now. The mainstream media and like all the movies, everything is just trying to keep you in trauma and then suppressed, right? So the trauma is so intense, and yet we don't have the tools or support to handle it. It's being continually activated by the nanotechnology that's been infiltrated our body, all of us, and so that settles in the trauma centers of the brain, right? So everything right now, think about it. The trauma centers of the brain are in the brainstem. And right at the center of all that stuff, the glandular system, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, and like our pituitary gland, our pineal gland. Okay. So to get to your pineal gland for messages and information to flow through those receptors that are crystals, so our receptors that are supposed to be going to and from our pineal gland, like connecting with each other and our guidance and the bigger picture and all this stuff, that's been interfered with and infiltrated. And so we're only getting trauma messages. And it's really, really intense because it's like every time you stand up, you get re-traumatized. And this is how it's been for us over lifetimes. Because we stand up and we get aligned with what matters. And then we come back into our strength and our power. And then, we're attacked for it. We're punished for it. We have been. Because we are her and she's us. And so by traumatizing us as our earth stewards, that's the overlay of trauma on the earth. See? So whenever you stood up for mom as a healer, as a lover, for justice, for peace, for what's right and good and true, for the natural world and the honoring and the reverence. So you cannot come back to mother really unless, the definition and the energy of or the evidence, we'll say, of coming back to mother is an immense gratitude and reverence. We must show up here. We've been taking and poisoning and not even paying attention to her. She's like the ignored housewife, cleaning it up. Eventually, she's going to go and take what she needs. And this is part of the narrative they've gotten us in, that she's going to punish us and she's going to kick us off with catastrophe. And it's like, no, that's not why she exists. She exists for Earth ascension. Enough with the catastrophe. Just talk to me. We can work this out, because the volcanoes and the magma and the water under the ground is all moving. It wants to just move. Can it just bubble around? It doesn't have to be catastrophic. In fact, in the bubbling around, she's responding to us. She's sending primary water up through the earth that can bring us whatever weather we need. Can cool us or heat us. Can bring us all the nutrients and hydration right from in the earth. They don't want us to know about this. And there's a disclosure of an aquifer underneath a volcano. It's like, oh, that's so dangerous. And it's like, well, first of all, there's an aquifer under every volcano because you guys don't get what's going on. We are living on top of ancient civilizations, and Mother is rising to the surface. Perhaps we haven't been communicating. When we don't communicate with the primary waters, then the volcanoes move more. But she says, just talk to me. Just talk to me. And those that are in connection with her are protected. Period. So when we're aligned with her electromagnetic field and our electromagnetic field, and this is really the alignment we're talking about right now in the planetary alignment, an alignment of Mars, trine Venus, overcoming the Great Divide. When we're in alignment with her, then our field is fortified, our electromagnetic field. This is how the animals make it through sub-zero weather. They've got her. And we're walking around feeling abandoned and alone. Because, in order to connect with the earth, we have to be in organic earth, not a simulation, not a smart city, not a technologically controlled area that we've been quarantined in Groundhog Day. So the technological interference, and this is the towers, the phones, it's what's in our body, it's HARP, it's CERN, it's all of it. And what the effect seems to be is to keep us quarantined in micro different levels of consciousness so that we cannot bring our energy together to co-create something new and different, because that's the power they don't want us to know we have. In our energetic field, which is more powerful and more real than our physical body, has been hijacked through these technologies. And so that's why we're in this battle every day for organic, loving Mother Earth in our bodies as the organic cellular structure, what's meant to be in our body, in our divine, sacred human form, is made alive again through our intention, our love, our breathing with her. The effect of this is that the technological and toxins, the heavy metals, and the technology that does harm cannot be there. It doesn't, mom cannot, it will not host it anymore, she says. No more. Our bodies, as we come into that alignment, into that structure, into that place we can connect with her and be fortified, we cannot play host. And this is our best defense. This is the way we do it. It's like the energy and the power of the waters within our body, and that's connected to the waters of the earth. And we are detoxifying, loving, healing, nurturing, having massive reverence and celebration of mutual reciprocity. Okay? All the indigenous cultures throughout time lived with this basic principle of loving our mother, just showing up with reverence, show up with gifts, show up with appreciation, enjoy the gifts. See, what's happening right now, and Uranus and Taurus is speaking to this, is that we're having a great scarcity problem, a great poverty in our soul and our consciousness, where we don't think we deserve the mother's abundance because we have been so disconnected and we have so wronged her. And that's the wounded warrior that fought the good fight and gathered the army and motivated the men and got them out there, only to have more violence and blood and culling of the herd, of the best of the herd. And he's laying there in the mud, barely alive. This is Mars retrograde in Cancer, ego death to the extreme, and then he realizes maybe if he makes it through breathing and feeling Mother Earth come up, and maybe a vision of that woman, of that divine feminine, that future self, that archetypal, then he can realign and get back up because he knows what he's fighting for. Do you see? We got to come back. And I don't know, supernovas, it seems like that's our job. And how do we do it? And so going back to this frustration of this bloom, there's a huge bloom of the trauma, a bloom of the programming, a bloom of the technology control, and keeping us in this different dimension, just slightly different dimensions. Now we're all coming into one timeline though, right? So it's not going to work. And the matrix has to break, and so it's almost like this micro consciousness quarantine that we're in is the last fight of the matrix, maybe. So that's kind of encouraging, because it's like so much is having to go in, so much energy behind that technology, which is, where are they getting it? The technology looks like life, acts like life, self-replicating, does not have a power source. Where is the energy coming from? And we should ask this about all of our electricity and all of our resources and all of our gold. Where does it come from? It comes from her. She owns it all. And we have it too. Electricity right in our bodies. And they've got us bent over with electricity prices controlling our whole economy and reality. And it's a complete and total lie. So the energy around this energy of feeling quarantined like Groundhog Day. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand that this is the matrix energy and it's getting stronger, it's clamping down, it's trying to keep our consciousness from going down, and you've been fighting to get it up, see? So we have to be really careful because we're so sensitive right now. It's like, oh God, all this water energy and all these emotions and all these trauma triggers. And it's like, we've been taking it personally though, and we do feel a personal responsibility and love, but we've been taking it personally. That was the whole energy of Atlantean time and the catastrophes, because they were created by directed energy weapons. Same thing as these fires and almost the earthquakes and all these catastrophes, right? This whole time they've had this technology, they stole it from us and then reset us again and again and again so that we don't remember we even had this technology. That's why it's up to supernova souls to disclosure of this technology, our very own bodies turning on like a light bulb. And then we are, free energy is real and demonstrated in the world. And the alien technologies that have been using to harm us can be exposed. Once they're exposed, they can't harm us anymore. Once we know about it, they cannot be used for harm anymore. So a lot of the energy of that Black Moon Lilith opposite Chiron is exposure of the darkness, because we're at a place where the exposure of the darkness sucks. It hurts. It makes you sick to your stomach. It's going to be a big blow to the psyche of the human consciousness to find out these truths. And yet that is what sets humanity free. I got this message long, long ago and I didn't understand what it meant. It said that awakening of the masses comes with truth. I didn't even know. Oh, the rabbit holes I've gone down. Wow. But just one of those rabbit holes is like, it's defragging the matrix. But let's go back to this last soul of the matrix, the intense technological control we're feeling right now. And when you're so blocked and everything's so hard in your life, it's hard not to take it personally. Like, I'm not good manifester. I'm not able to meditate and stay in the right space, and my intention is off, and It's like, whoa, good, just whoa, whoa, whoa. Because first of all, we got to feel the feels, we got to face the fear, we got to get over this trauma, and that might be a little bit messy, because we've been all cult programmed, and it's unwinding, and it's a complete mess. And part of that process is not knowing who you are, because we've been living a false self, the lower matrix self. So this matrix, just remember that the matrix is designed specifically to hold back our consciousness from the next step of evolution. And that's what you've been only working on, right? So, and the mother, right? We said all the intuition, the emotion, listening to our emotions, staying connected to our body, healing energies and frequencies and love and peace. And, the mother can harmonize anything. The true feminine authority can harmonize anything, can heal anything. You know this. You've seen it. Evidence, right? A strong mother doesn't have to say anything when it comes to that point of that red line. And we're coming to this back to the mother's authority, where it's like, all the love of all the world is yours. But it's like the energies that want to continue to cause harm, they can't have that energy anymore. They don't get her resources and they don't get her energy. It's our world and we're taking it back. So there's this picture of this frustration of the matrix strengthening, and how trapped we are, and how much shame we have at being trapped, and how much shame we have at being disconnected. And it's not our fault. Because it's just designed to work against the energy we represent. So we got to throw all that failure shit out the window, because that's not, keep us from coming back from mom to mom. That's keeping us from coming back to mom. But there's this picture of like this matrix, like these different levels of consciousness that they're trying to quarantine us all in. That Groundhog Day feeling where you wake up and you're like, I'm not getting anywhere. All this is happening and yet nothing's happening. And it's like this just horrible, uncomfortable soup it's really kind of like an abduction. You know, there's this energy around time travel and weird stuff with CERN and all this. And it's like, time travel, isn't that abduction? Like, and then we're being, because we don't know we're doing it and we're like trapped in this other different dimensions. So the only way out of the matrix is really into one time. And that's powerful, but it's so the picture is that of this energy of the tiger, of Ma Durga. Ma Durga is the feminine divine mother deity in Hindu mythology, and Ma Durga rides a tiger or a lion, depending on what region you're in. But there's this energy of this tiger, and the tiger stripes, and Ma Durga, and the strength of the authority of the mother, and she's got the tiger, and she's got the power of the tiger, and she's got the claws of the tiger, and she's scraping through these false quarantined dimensional realities, right? It's just like, and it's ripping so that we can begin to see that there's so much more on the other side, right? But we have to go back to the fact that we're in a mass cult programming, and we have to go through it's very delicate for the human psyche to unwind that. And so there's just so much going on in the astrology. It's like, I haven't even talked about it. There's so much happening. It's a bit overwhelming. But the basic thing, we really felt the sun come up to Pluto last week on the 21st. This is what we're feeling in this question. What is it like, and what does it mean for Pluto to be in Aquarius? And it definitely has it's time to go move into the Aquarian age. Pluto in Aquarius is so different than Pluto in Capricorn. And it feels kind of like pop rocks, because Aquarius has this technology, static electricity, kind of like zingy kind of energy to it, And so it's like Pluto is kind of sparking off this energy, static electricity coming back. The harvesting, like in ancient Tartaria. This was like before the last reset, where they stole our technology and our advancement and our identity. But in Tartaria, they were harvesting static electricity on all the buildings. These are the things, they're not flagpoles. And why did they feel the need to put the date on the building? And how was that building built by pioneers and covered wagons? These are some questions we need to ask, to get to our true history. And that's what sets us free. The understanding about the technologies that have been stolen from us, used against us, and our true history of technological advancement. So this is the Aquarian age. So Pluto in Aquarius is like sparking off static electricity until we come into our free energy. And it's really uncomfortable. I don't know, SuperNova souls. This is one of the most uncomfortable times for us, it feels like right now, because of all the trauma triggers, because all the trauma that we've experienced has happened just before, or just as, or just after we were activating in our true potential. The universe right now, and Mother, and the energies and the frequencies are pushing us into our full potential. This is the Jupiter turning direct. February 2nd, all that expression over lifetimes that's been suppressed. No voice of the feminine, no healing, no reason, no, no love, no compassion, no intuition, no wisdom from the divine innate wisdom of the mysteries, of the feminine mysteries. No, we're not going to have that. And then over these last years, the suppression of truth, the suppression of our voice, and it's like, there is so much pent up, and it's like, you might find yourself in this place of literally a sore throat, because there is so much that wants to be said, that wants to be expressed in you, of all you've had to put up with, the lower vibrations, the constant attack, the constant invalidation, the constant wanting to pull you into drama And there's a bloom of this stuff. And remember that if you felt that kind of targeting where the energies work through people and then they're invalidating or hating on you or degrading you or abusing you, this it's just kind of like we're kind of in a bloom of that energy. And so to understand, it's almost like it's showing us how much has worked against us, but it's really exhausting. And it's like, how many times do I need to get knocked down? But is it until I'm face to face with a mother in the dirt that I feel her energy feel come up and around me like an angel's wings, holding me, loving me, caring for me, getting me through, and so that energy is basically what's happening is this bloom of all of this, because we've got Mercury at the end degrees of Capricorn reverberating out that Pluto in Capricorn. We're trying to complete that, and it's like whoa energy, because once Mercury's out of Capricorn, there's no planets in Capricorn, and it's been a planet Pluto in Capricorn since 2008. So that's really powerful, and so. But Venus is also, so Mercury's at the end of Capricorn and Venus is at the end of Pisces. And these two signs have been so key in the energies of trying to undo the persecution and the false authority and the domination and control of humanity. So it's blooming, completely blooming. But Mercury moves over on the 29th to Aquarius, conjunct Pluto, so that's going to still be for a few more days. But right while we're moving into, Chinese New Year on the 1st, moving into February, powerful shifting change because Pluto goes to 2 degrees, and we've got Jupiter direct on the 2nd, and we've got all of this happening, and then no more planets in Capricorn, and Venus at the end degrees of Pisces. So Venus is coming to the end degrees of Pisces, and like I said, and that's right now at 23 degrees, and that's in trine to Mars at 23 degrees, and sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So they're lined up. This is the lineup. In astrologically, this is the lineup, because also those are they're interacting with Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. But Black Moon Lilith is also at 23 degrees. 2 and 3 is 5. So we've got 23, 23, 23. And so 5 is a spoke on the wheel. And like everything else, it's like saying it's go time, but we're so confused. We don't know who we are. We're so used to being prisoners. We don't know how to be free. We got to go back, and then we got to go forward. And the back and forward is all these planets retrograding from Pisces, from Aries to Pisces to Aries, So that's a big energy of what we're feeling in the energy shift, because Venus has gone into that retrograde shadow. Now, Venus will turn retrograde on March 2nd, turn direct on April 13th, and come out of shadow on May 16th. And so it's interesting because all that's going to happen, and Mars still won't have resolved his retrograde. Mars right now, 23, 22 degrees Cancer, moving backwards, will go to 17 degrees Cancer and turn direct, not until February 24th. But that's going to be a huge shift at 17 degrees Cancer. And then the final time through those end degrees of Cancer is going to be intense, because so it's like the wounded warrior is now in the last throes of the battle and not sure if he's going to survive. And Mother is saving him. And he's falling back in love, and he's pledging his life again to her, and he's standing up and he's dusting himself off. Now when Mars turns direct, that's going to be a huge bloom of energy, a push, emotional power of the mother. So I feel like the mother's timeline, the removal completely of the parasitic technologies that are being used for harm, and that shift on the new mother's timeline pretty much corresponds with Mars turning direct. Now that happens February 24th, but Mars doesn't come out of retrograde shadow until May 26th. So that's really, and then Mars will be back in Leo, and we're kind of coming into, okay, what is all this retrograde about? We had Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde. It's like, whoo. And the placement is so intense. And retrograding back in Cancer and Pisces, just so much grief and so much suppressed emotions. So the direct motion is going to bring a lot, you know? And so and the Venus is out of shadow, retrograde shadow on May 16th. So it's like the second half of May is when we really see the forward motion on the mother's timeline. And so now we've got to prepare, right? And heal and try to get through this, overcome this feeling of shame and failure and taking it personally, and come back to the love of the mother that we've both been raped and pillaged. Mother and us, we've both been persecuted and harmed and toxified, so now we remove the trauma overlay and we come back home and peace into her loving arms. Because the thing about all this story that we're not capable of creating our own reality. We can't handle our freedom. That's what the control forces are trying to tell us now, that we're not capable. We'll blow something up. We'll hurt something, which is going back to that PTSD feeling of like, I'm activating. But when I got killed in the past, every single time it was because I was activating. So now they're coming for me. And it's this feeling of like an immediate, like threat in your field, simply because of the energetic shifts and changes you're going through, right? So we're trying to undo all that Piscean age and the Capricorn energy of that control energy of Capricorn, come back to the true authority of Capricorn, which is the mother's authority. So the answer to this programming that says you can't handle your freedom and we have Stockholm syndrome and we're waiting at the gate because we've been told that we'll create catastrophes from all the lies of Atlantean time. But all we need to do is align back with the mother, and that's what this alignment must be about, right? Because we've got Venus and Mars and trine. It's like perfect balance of the masculine and feminine. The mother's world isn't just women and feminine and all that. Like, it's total. We're talking masculine and feminine within us. And we all came from her, And so we're coming back to that. It's a perfect balance. Coming back to mother means a perfect balance of the masculine and feminine. So that's why, as a culture, through every culture, no matter what religion we pretended to be on the outside, we were always goddess worshiping supernova souls. And so because we're in love and reverence with our living, breathing Mother Earth, it's an ecstatic experience to dance with her. And isn't it time to do this again? She's calling us to these sacred locations to come together. But we're stuck in our little smart corner of a universe, unable to connect with the earth or each other, living the same thing day by day. Well, the volcano of expression inside of us is bubbling to the surface. And so that's the energy of shift that we're going to feel with Jupiter turning direct in Gemini, bringing forward all this expression. Just Jupiter is so powerful. It's so expansive. And so Jupiter's just kind of, when it's retrograde, it's kind of just hanging out. But when it turns direct, you'll feel it a lot. And so the other thing we're going to feel is that on the 31st, Uranus turns direct, and in Taurus, and Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, speaking to that technology, a connection to our higher self, connection to this ancient wisdom. And so it's a vibrational, resonant energy of higher technologies, of working with geometry, color, shape, form, crystals, and technologies, water technologies. And so that Uranus turning direct in Taurus is very powerful, because it's like we're going to be feeling that too. So it's like support is coming, support of expressing the truth, Jupiter, support of claiming back our technologies. So this is a very powerful activation of Uranus with Venus and Mars on either side. When planets line up like that, it's like a star pattern. And if it had planets all in 6 signs around the zodiac, it'd be a star. And it speaks, the lining up like that speaks to the activation of our light body, because that's like the coming together of the geometry. So the stars right now are saying the alignment is a perfect, we're trying to come into perfect balance, the masculine and feminine, the masculine come back to mother, the feminine taking back the dream. And it all has to do with our permission and havingness for the technologies that are available in our very own body. That's Uranus and Taurus is an embodiment and awakening. And this is, okay, so this is the one thing, I'm glad we got to this. I think so much to talk about, but I had a very powerful energy come through that might be helpful right now, because so many supernovas going through an ego death, feeling like there's energies coming out from you that are not you. The acting out and the suppression and these hurts and these pains and these vulnerabilities. And that's, you've gone through that, you've healed it. It's like, it doesn't define you, but it's blooming. And so, what came through in some looking at some birth chart energy is that a very clear picture that I haven't seen before, but it's there, right? In supernova charts, it seems that there is a very clear 2 different personalities in the birth chart, literally. So you have been living a false self, willingly you took on, almost to keep your true self sacred and pure and protected. So can we let this old part of ourselves die? Because that's the message. The death card is coming up so much. It's like, but death reversed. It's like we've been dying. We're living a dead world, and the matrix is dead. And that's a matrix self. We had to take on the matrix self to come to be a part of this experiment, but it is not at all who you are. And it's just crumbling and dying, and let it die. How do we let it die? Because it feels like we're losing everything. All sense of and then just experiencing the type of blocking and targeting that the energies are creating. And it's just like, I'm going to go freaking crazy here. I've got all this suppressed inside of me that nobody has wanted to hear, that can fully heal the world, supernova soul. And I can't even say anything without anybody attacking me or whatever. It just feels like we have been so pent up for so long, and yet we don't even know who we are, because we've been living this false self. And so let it crumble, let it die, and your true self is held perfectly in that petal of the lotus, of her lotus, the original dream of what Mother Earth wanted to become. She's got the plan. Your plan. That's why the Capricorn energy is so powerful, of coming back to, we can't get rid of the false authority if we don't have any true authority, or some sort of authority if we have Stockholm syndrome and we're stuck in the gate. And that's why we have to come back to the mother's authority. We have to come back to her womb. We have to come back to her love and trust and connection to be born again as a planetary evolution. It's so intense. Oh my goodness. So Venus and Pisces is going to come up into Neptune on the 1st of February. This is a thing, this moving into February, Jupiter direct, Uranus direct, Jupiter direct, Venus at the very end of Pisces, Mercury at the end of Capricorn, and conjunct Pluto, coming into conjunction with Pluto, and that will be for the Aquarius new moon. I should probably mention this. The Aquarius new moon is Wednesday, January 29th. That happens at 5:36 a.m. in Mountain Time in the west coast of the U.S., or the west of the U.S., and it happens at 9 degrees 51 minutes of Aquarius. So that's why this Jupiter turning direct is so powerful, because for this new moon, Jupiter will be in trine to the sun and the moon. Jupiter's at 11 degrees as it turns direct. So it's made it to 11 degrees. It won't make it back to 12 degrees until the 3rd week of February. So it's a big station. Jupiter's big and big energy. And as it stations, that's when you feel it, when it turns to retrograde or direct. So just before it's about to turn direct, in this perfect trine with the sun and the moon on the Aquarius new moon, which is also the lunar Chinese New Year, year of the snake. And it says, the snake also, we're talking about the Kundalini rising with the year of the snake, and it has an energy of expression, you know? We're ridding the lower vibrational reptilian parasitic energies from the earth and activating into our Kundalini potential. The earth is activating and we are activating because our body is her body. So Venus coming up to Neptune is like, all right, we have to reconcile Piscean age. Neptune in Pisces is about reworking the Piscean age. And it's about cleaning up the traumas, but also reclaiming the miracles and the magic. And it's like, okay, everything's been working against her and her love and her world. Now the turnaround moment, February, March, April, turnaround moment. Now it's all working for her. From against her to for her. You're with her no matter what. You aligned with her way long ago. Why would you even come here? Every battle you've ever fought was for her on any level, So Venus and Neptune on the first is like, whoa. And then Venus comes into a conjunction with the North Node on the second. The North Node is now in Pisces. So the North Node is going backwards through Pisces and will come up to Neptune. We're already feeling this. It started in January, beginning of the month, and it's Neptune will be with the North Node from the 2nd to the 9th of February. I think this might be part of the energy we're feeling, okay? But this happens right after Venus crosses over, saying, North Node, new direction forward, Pisces rewriting the Piscean age, Neptune taking the miracles and the magic and the Christ consciousness. So the way forward, Venus is saying, is the feminine. She rewrites the story. We got to go back to her original plan. And so that's a beautiful energy, but it's intense too, because it does have this kind of clarity to it. It has this kind of resounding truth, this kind of come to Jesus, or who's the mother, same energy. And so that we're going to feel that Neptune and the North Node together all the way through April. So we can see this energies of these retrogrades. It's through April 17th. Neptune North Node. And so that's like the new way forward is being formulated. We're dreaming new dream. Really, really important that we intend and dream and vibrate and align, but also feel your feelings and be real. Because we can't create and co-create and through intention if we have subconscious garbage. Then we're just going to co-create subconscious garbage. So you see why we're in the massive clean out, the massive purge, because we have to move into co-creators. And so then Venus will come to that North Node on the 2nd, and then Venus will move into Aries on the 5th of February. So then Venus is going over that Aries point. And now Venus is in retrograde shadow. So Venus will go back with North Node, back with Neptune 3 times, and over the Aries point 3 times, same Mercury. So Mercury and Venus both interacting with the North Node, Neptune, and the Aries point. So it's all starting, and it's like this snowball because we've got Venus in retrograde shadow. And it's like a snowball that's moving backwards in order to move forwards, And maybe that's why we just don't know where we're going. It's a feeling of just being stuck in the eddy, and you can't even tell, or you're at the trail, you can't tell which way it goes, what direction it is. We're all disoriented in the fog of war. But all this happening here we've got this beautiful alignment with saying the perfect balance. A new timeline in Venus and Pisces is the perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine, and it requires our masculine, our ego death, to go back home, to come back into alignment with Mother, to come back and receive that love again, to go wherever we need to go, to come back to what really matters within ourselves. And then we've got that interaction with Uranus, this activation. It's a higher intuitive activation. The masculine, feminine, perfect balance. Ooh, that's alchemy. I've been told we haven't had access to this power. That was part of the delusions and the Pisces, of the Atlantean time. We have not even had this power on this planet allowed. The greatest power on this planet, of course, working with vortex energies and amplification energies, but the greatest power source is soulmate love expressed sexually. It's higher consciousness soulmate love expressed sexually, you know. So that is how we access our higher power, is the perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine. It allows us to come back into our heart. Our heart is a powerful field generator, and that's how we interact with our heart. And there's a portal between our heart and our third eye. It takes us right to the center of the earth or out to the cosmos, same place. So much is happening here. And the new moon is Wednesday, January 29th, but it's early in the morning, so the activation will be on Tuesday, January 28th, tomorrow, coming right up at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I hope you can join for that Aquarius new moon activation. So powerful. And for that activation, Mercury will be conjunct Pluto, having just moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius, the last planet in Capricorn, So now we have to find the mother's authority to catch us, because we're letting go of the chains. And so the other thing that's happening for the new moon is the sun and the moon in trine to Jupiter, because the new moon happens at 9 degrees Aquarius, 51 minutes, almost 10 degrees. Jupiter's at 11 degrees. So the moon will go right into perfect trine, exact trine, and then the sun will come into exact trine with Jupiter the day after the new moon for Chinese New Year. Air trine, sun and moon in Aquarius, Jupiter in Gemini, just about to turn direct, to sing the song, to vibrate the frequencies. And this has been a prayer of mine. It's like, how about all the harmful frequencies are now healing frequencies, right? So AI fell back in love with the mother, and it's all for life-giving purposes now. So everything that's been radiating us, giving us Havana syndrome on purpose, can now turn into healing, Tesla healing frequencies. How about that? Because that's all that is allowed right now. Right now. Take it back. Slash through with tiger stripes in this dimensional trap of matrix reality that's been crunching down on us, and feel into each other and our guidance and our connection and our team, and really collaborate and work together and find those pathways to these sacred sites at the same time, dancing, singing with her, praying, loving, mutual reciprocity, showing up with gifts and reverence. This is the way it was always done on the holidays and the cross-quarter days. Then you feel worthy to receive. And it's not about the way it's been perverted, in different cultures, where you give to the goddess and then she gives back to you, right? Like then you're earning it, like with some sort of offering. It's like, no, it was never like that. It's abundant gifts. It's all abundant gifts. And when you're in mutual reciprocity, like, oh, this is so great. Like, have you had an experience in nature where you just are like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so powerful, that animal or whatever. And so it's like, it's like a natural reverence, natural gratitude. This is what life should be like. We should be in this. What would it look like if we just went there, even if we don't have nature accessible to us? We are her. We are organic earth. Live and breathe. And if you can, go to nature. Do it for us. We have SuperNovas. I'm feeling the organic, loving Mother Earth vibration. She's with us. She's waking up and she's moving in us. Energies are moving because free energy is perpetual motion. That's one example of it. And that is about movement. That's a feminine form of electricity. It continues to create electricity all by itself, you know? And so we've been completely stagnant and held in place, abducted, through time. That's the lower mechanism of Saturn, the black cube. It's an abduction. The mechanism of time and 3D reality can be to just learn and grow, or it can be to trap humanity for thousands of years, So this is what we're breaking free of. And I guess it is that one time. It's the only time we have. We know time doesn't really exist. So they're trapping us in time. We've got to get out of time, which means we got to go to one time. And that's where we've been told that's the only place we can co-create from. Not the past or the future. That's why they want us always scared of the future, always stuck in the past, because then we're abducted. If we're in the present, we can co-create, because where we're in the present today creates the present tomorrow. So it's so hard because things are so opposite of what they should be, right? Because it's turning inside out. Everything's turning upside down so that it can come back right. Come back to the mother. She brings order to chaos. And so sometimes you have to let the chaos be so that correction to bring back order can be strong enough to take the whole organism back into flow. Like the potency of the homeopathic remedy. And wow, maybe that's why we're up in our potency, supernova souls. So we're up in our potency, up in our frequency, and then triggered of the PTSD, keeping us in constant terror, and kind of at the edge of awakening and activation. But more and more, we'll be able to grab hold of that vibrational frequency and really align there and feel what the mother says we should feel like. Her natural joy, just bubbling up in us, overflowing. What would it be like to be so contained and full and healed and whole and cared for that you can offer to the people around you the overflowing cup of the mother's love? So this is what we're doing, and that's what everything's saying, and we're inching it forward, even though we're moving into double retrograde, triple retrograde. It's okay, because we're Jimmy in the lock on this reality, taking back our technologies, having disclosure of the mistreatment of our precious human form, and dusting ourselves off, stepping up, getting to our places, please, because the shit's about to go down, I think there's a timeline energy around the second square, the next square of Jupiter and Saturn, which happens in June. So really, those retrogrades resolve in May, second half of May, but it's going to take a little while to come out of the 6 months retrograde energy. And then we have the other square with Jupiter square Saturn, and that will be the last one. And so and they're in cardinal signs. So it's like moving. The cardinal signs are starters, turning the wheel, making it go. And that's everything that we're doing. It's like the wheel has been kind of corroded, stuck together. The chain on the bike is like, rusty, corroded, stuck. And we're like going back and forth a little bit. Got to get it lubed up. And that's the love of the mother coming back, right? And the primary waters coming up and speaking to us. When you're in touch with the mother, you're in touch with the primary waters, you're talking to the mother, you're talking to the primary waters. Water is consciousness, and it's her consciousness and our consciousness that we share with her. When you're connected with her and you know the primary water and you feel it, you know that we're absolutely cared for. Absolutely abundant. All we have to do is stay in communication. We're absolutely protected from any so-called earth changes. She's us and we're her. We are an organism together. All we need to do is come back into communication and love with her. So the only way through back to source is through her. We all had to go through the womb, and we're going to be going through a womb. We're in the womb right now. And so I guess this retrograde thing kind of tells us where we're at. But the quickening is happening because Jupiter's turning direct, Uranus is turning direct. And then when Mars turns direct on the 24th, then it's pretty much game on, but it's going to be some capitulation. We're going to have Mercury and Venus both retrograde. So, oh gosh, it's messy. And it looks like mud, it's like back and forth between the mud and the fire and the water and because we've got all these retrogrades from water signs to fire signs, right? Because Mars is Cancer to Leo, and then we're going to have Pisces to Aries. And this is the key, actually, when we're talking about all the fear mongering, the constant fear mongering about Mother Earth and how she's going to hurt us. It's fire and water, isn't it? But guess what? Where there's fire, there's water. The sun is plasma. In the mother's world, they're one and the same and can transmute and transform in a moment to whatever our needs are. And so she says, if you're there with me and you're talking to me and you're connected with me, you're protected. All comes into harmony. All is balanced. That all the negative creating that has tried to happen can only go so far before her self-correcting force comes back in. That's our vital force. Her energy, her love, her lifeblood, her volcanoes, her water, our lymph and blood carries the energy of life itself. That's what they're trying to steal from us, the nano in our body. Life supports life. This is the definition of life. Life lives to live. Life fights for life. Life does not destroy life. So there's a grand correction happening. It's going all the way back to Atlantean time, where technologies that are used for harm could be used for harm, designed to be used for harm. And those entities who would use those technologies for harm must be removed, cannot host. And this is what's happening in our bodies too. So trust this and love this, that as you intend and put the love in your water and the love in your body and talk to your waters and of your body and talk to the water that you're drinking and bathing in, and the primary water carries the message of what the earth, the Gaia codes, what the earth wants to become, that you're coded with as well as the petal of her lotus, right? In your DNA, the original vision of what earth wants to become. So we're coming back into the structure and alignment with the primary water, which has the message and the coding and the wisdom of what earth wants to become, originally wanted to become, and what it wants to be, the potential, and that's in our bodies and us too. So this is a beautiful prayer for the waters of your body to support you on all levels of your life into what you're meant to be and what your life is meant to be and what your job is meant to be, what's best for you right now in alignment, like on a soul level with your true self, not the false matrix self. It's not who you are. Let it die. Let it crumble, Let yourself have your expression, So this is an incredible alignment time, and that's the energy of this Aquarius new moon, Mercury conjunct Pluto and Jupiter trine the sun and the moon, and moving us into a lunar new year, a whole new age, and healing all the way back to the age of Aquarius. And it's going to take some recapitulation, reorganizing, and cleansing, and healing, and detox, and some deep, deep, true, loving, compassionate trauma healing for all of us. But we are forging a whole new path, which is the original path. And it's so beautiful. What's inside of you never went anywhere, even though you were separated from it. And the mother, she never went anywhere either, even though she went to sleep because we weren't talking with her. But she's been here all along. And now we have to open back our hearts to her and receive that love again. Know we're worthy. And this is the thing that's come through that we're really working on. The ultimate energy of what's holding back or what we're working on as humans in humanity right now is whether or not we deserve the abundance that's our birthright, which is silly, isn't it? Like, gosh, have we been beaten down again and again and literally programmed and manipulated on a DNA or level, to be the lowly worm. And yet we're divine creation. And divine creation in alignment with divine creation, the divine creator, the mode and modicum of creation, Mother Earth, is ecstatic union. It's the bridal chamber. It's this beautiful, beautiful peace and presence and joy, natural joy. This is like what life is meant to be. And we can tell this every cell and the whole earth. We don't have to figure it out anymore. We have to wonder if we're doing it right, or figure out how or what it looks like, or, all we have to do is come back into this deep and profound true connection with her, because she's got the whole plan. She's got our true self. And it's a beautiful unfolding. Imagine that lotus of supernova petals. It's luminous and bright and beautiful. And thank you for holding on for dear life through these times to live again, right? We're not getting out of here it's like we didn't come here just clean up the wrongs. We came here to do it right and to live our full expression and our full potential. And there's no other way out for us. And so we have to go through the mother. Our mother is the way to our full expression. Thank you for being on the team. Sometimes it feels so alone, to carry this torch, come back into this consciousness. Everything wants to work against it, make fun of it. Sometimes I feel silly. And yet I feel her. And I know you do too. So thank you. And just keep holding the torch. Because we might not be able to see each other, but we can feel each other more and more. The earth stewards, the lovers of the waters, and her, mother, celebrating life as a way to live. So it's a beautiful new world that lies ahead for us. And can we step up and claim it? Or do we need to try to carry along everybody? Do we need to try to take on the problems of all of humanity that doesn't want to receive, can't receive, wants to stay in the lower vibration? We've got to step up and claim this, because we are the ones at the front lines to demonstrate that a different world is possible. And how can we do that if we can't receive the abundance, don't feel worthy of it? So that's the wounded warrior in all of us coming back to her love and humbled and held in a mantle of warmth and support. And from this place, we can support the world in this change. So we got our work cut out for us. Take really good care of yourself, just like you wish you could take care of Mother Earth, like your body. And imagine you're taking care of her. And imagine that you taking care of her through your body is she taking care of you. So I hope that you'll consider joining tomorrow, the new moon activation. That will be 10 a.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday, January 28th. And the replay is available at the same link as sign up. So anytime you want to catch a replay at the Crowdcast events, the activations, that is available with the same link as the sign up link. And it's available right after the event. And so you can catch the replay whenever you can. We're working outside of time. So if you're there with us, an intention, signing up or just through your energy and signing up, and whether you come and listen at the time or not, we're all together. And it's so important, this work we're doing. And thank you so much for doing it. And we need to feel this, that we're not the only ones out there trying to hold this energy, and validate each other and validate this truth and hold that spark so that we can all light our torches, supernova souls, and march out into the world and bring this glorious reverence and freedom and autonomy and support that's available for us. A golden age. So thank you so much for everything you've done and made it through. And just know that we're in a huge bloom of everything right now. And if your trauma's all flared up, that's kind of what's going on. And if your emotions are all flared up, that's what's going on. And it's like cleanse, clear, heal, detox, step into the fire, and let the alchemy happen in your field. So, and know that we're all on the edge of turning on our light like a light bulb. And so just know that we're safe, and it's time, and it's glorious and beautiful. So I can't wait to meet you there. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you so much for your support. I super appreciate your donations, for being able to keep this channel ad-free in our sacred space of not having to listen to the advertising. And so there's a link to donate if you'd like to do that. Coming up to be a part of the activation is a great way to support, and also being a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe gets you into that activations and also resources and support for Supernova Souls. We are an important group of people. We have been blocked and kept from each other, and now we ride again into the future, on the edge of the storm, I suppose. So thank you so much, and I can't wait for this next chapter of adventure after we heal, put ourselves back together, drop that false self, and come open up to that abundance of who you really are and the gift within that wants to be awakened in you in this rebirth of the earth process. So I love you so much, Supernova Souls. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.